Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance once again. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It is called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,000 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, guys, here we go once again. Here we go. But this time, usually a lot of times it doesn't take, 3 games to actually get your first home opener. Usually a lot of times it's, you get one on the road, then you get one at home, or you get one at home, one on the road. I mean, every now and then maybe you get 2, once a blue moon, maybe 2 at home, and then you start going on the road, or what happened here, 2 on the road. And, I said, this, the way it was this year, I had no complaints at all. I mean, no complaints whatsoever. I mean, opening up 2 games on the road against divisional opponents, obviously 2 winnable games. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. That is one of the things that is certainly without question that is, hurting Daboll. Without question. Does everything have to be freaking perfect? Now, of course, we got some problems on the team. I get it, right? The Cowboys have problems on their team, right? But what happened? They won. Do we need that? Well, our offensive line in the middle is a little, do we need everything to be perfect to win some football games? It's not. If you're a good coach, you're a good team, whatever, you find ways to win winnable games. The Giants should have won at least one of those games. We're going to talk a little bit here in a bit about, guys being on the hot seat. And obviously Bowen's right up there. We're going to talk about this defense, or the lack thereof, shall we say, or shall I say the defense has been rather offensive, shall we say, over the past couple games. So this is this is for the Giants. This is I don't want to say a winnable game. They're all winnable. Every week is different. Right? The Chiefs have a good defense, right? They blitz a lot. They're going to do a lot of man-on-man, right? But they have no running game, which bids well for the Giants because the Giants have no run defense. Mahomes is the one leading the team in rushing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he has more rushing yards than all the running backs combined. So they really don't have. We're going to go over their injuries too. They don't have a running game. It's not like they got Kelsey from 5-6 years ago and Mahomes from 4 or 5 years ago, and Tyreek Hill out there, and maybe some. And it's like pick your poison, who you're going to double team and let the other guy kill you and stuff. It's not quite the same team. Obviously, if you got Mahomes there, he can. If you let him hang around long enough, he'll find a way to beat you, right? You got Steve Spagnuolo, right? What was he got? 3 is what, 4 Super Bowl champions, four rings, I think it is. I think it's 3 with the Chiefs, but he has obviously the one with the Giants from 2007 as a defensive coordinator. I mean, Andy Reid, you listen to, you turn your ear to Canton. Yep. If you listen, they're carving Andy Reid's bust out right now as we speak. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Hall of Fame tight end, Hall of Fame quarterback. So I mean, you let teams like that hang around. And so, but once again, is a winnable. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but another winnable game. But I mean, if you go back, I'm just going to go back to 2017, 2016. We our home opener. We beat. We started off the season. We went into Dallas and we won. It was the last time we beaten Dallas. Second game of the season was against 2016. It was against the Saints. Obviously, that was the year we went to the playoffs. The heck was it? 16-13, 19-16. We won that one or something. Won by 3 points. It was a low scoring defensive battle. I mean, that year the Giants' defense was very, very good. Right. Remember Victor Cruz caught a pass. He didn't catch any more touchdowns. He caught 1 touchdown pass. That was his final season in the NFL. He caught just 1 touchdown pass the week before. I think it was the game winner against the Cowboys. Did the salsa for his final time in 2016. But so the whole rest of the season, Victor Cruz didn't catch another touchdown pass. But he caught a big pass down the sideline from Eli Manning and got the Giants down inside the 5, I believe it was. That was a big reception, and the Giants wound up pulling that one out against Drew Brees and the Saints. That was a lot different than the game they had a year or so before that, where I think Eli had 6 touchdown passes and Drew Brees had 7. I mean, the game was just going up and down. But you go back to 2017. I'm going to go over this in just a minute. All right. I think the Giants have won 1 home opener. The last 8 years. So I'm not including 2016. I'm not including this year. So the last 2017 to 2024. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Last 8 years, the home opener. I think the Giants won once, which was against Carolina, 2022. So we're pattern there. We're pattern. Okay. 2016, 2022, the Giants won their home openers. What happened in 2016 and 2022? So you tell me we got a chance now. No, the Giants obviously went to the playoffs. Well, let's go back to 20. Let's go back to a happy time, shall we? Let's start this video on a happy note, okay? So let me share my screen here. All right. Okay, so I got it on 2017. So let me go back 1 year here. This is 2017. So we'll go back to 2016. I think it was 16-13. Is that where we beat the Saints by 16-13? Okay. All right. But we beat the Cowboys, right? 2019. That was, obviously another tough game. We pulled it out. What was it? It was like a 5-yard touchdown pass from Eli to Victor. Won that game. 3-yard touchdown pass. See, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Like a 56-yard field goal, 54. I mean, the Cowboys have about 900 field goals against the Giants from 50 yards out. It's absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. But Victor Cruz, 3-yard touchdown pass. And we managed to hold, it was 6 minutes to go. We managed to hold on to the lead, but he didn't give up a field goal try. That's because the idiot, I can't remember who it was, but one of the idiots from the Cowboys caught a pass with 10 seconds to go or something like that. And it would have been a long field goal, but of course it's a Cowboys. Dan Bailey could have kicked it from probably about 90. It was against the Giants, so he could have kicked it from about 90 yards out, I'm sure. But the idiot caught the pass, and instead of running out of bounds, he decided to juke it up, stay in bounds with no timeouts left, and get as many yards as he could. Well, then the Cowboys ran up to the line of scrimmage, and just before they were able to snap the ball and clock it, the time ran out. So the Giants won. They lucked out there. So the Giants here, all right, That was the Cowboys though. So, but their home opener against the Saints here, 16-13. Okay, so then we go from here. It's all downhill here, except for that. I believe I remember it's the one win in 2022 against the Panthers. But in 2017, we lost 19-3 to the Cowboys. Then we played the Lions, and we lost. Of course, here, this is we started off 1-8, so real good season. Unbelievable. 3 wins. And the last one was the last game. So we were 2-13 at one point. Just unfreaking believable. But we lost our home opener to the Lions, 24-10, 2017. Okay. Then we got 2018. This was Saquon's first game ever at home. We lost a tough one. Now I think Saquon scored, it was 20-9, if I'm not mistaken. Saquon scored on that long touchdown run, whatever it was, 40, 50 yards, kind of up the middle, whatever it was, broke it out to the right-hand side and down the right-hand sideline for the touchdown. The Giants went for 2 and didn't get it. What was it? 68 yards. I didn't even think it was that long. But they said they didn't get, there's no extra point here. They went for 2 to make it 2017, but couldn't get it. So the Giants were down. Well, we were down one time, 13-3, and then the Jaguars. Oh, the interception. It wasn't like the Giants got killed in this game. I said, Myles Garrett picked the pass off, ran it back 32 yards for a touchdown, which made it was 13-9 for a while. So if it wasn't for that intercepted pass, Saquon Barkley touchdown run might have been the difference in victory, right? Because you figure if without this intercepted pass, the score is 13-9. If Saquon runs the ball in, makes it 15-13, the Giants are probably going to go for 1 to make it a 3-point game. The Giants, it was just a very lackluster, the Jags had a very good defense. Obviously, the Giants were not a very good team. So, and of course, we wound up losing. Bad teams find ways to lose, and we had that pick 6. But and the Jaguars were not that bad of a team back then. That was right around the time they went to the championship game, and they were winning by about 10 points with about 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they choked in New England against Brady. They gave up 2 touchdowns in the final 10 minutes of the game, whatever, in the championship games. Anyway, so 2018 we lost to the Jaguars, and of course that theme keeps up in 2019. 2019, let's see here, we lose to the Bills. Once again, we start off against the Cowboys. We lost only lost 35-17. Another real good game there. Then we this was the Eli Daniel Jones season, right? Then we lost at home to Buffalo, 28-14. Then they pulled the plug on the Eli experience, right? They put that's when they put Daniel Jones in there. Right? We went back-to-back games with Daniel Jones in there, and we're like, wee, here we go, baby. Wee. Nope. But anyway, we lost our home opener against the Bills in 2019, 28-14. All right, so let me go to the Judge era. That's enough of the Shermer experiment. Let's go to the Judge era, shall we? So 2020, we started since we started 1-7. The Giants had to lose here. This was the Pittsburgh Steeler game here. Just did not look very good at all. We had a grand total of 29 rushing yards. This is the year that in week 2 against the Bears when Saquon got injured. Saquon ran for a grand total 34 yards all season or something like that. He got injured his knee against the Bears early on in that game. We lost that game. Then we wound up losing. So we were 1-7. Just absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. But we started at home against the Steelers. Monday Night Football. Monday, right? And we lost 26-16. It was a very lackluster game. I mean, the Steelers were definitely the better team there. All right, so then the second year of the Judge era, right? 2021. Of course, we lost that one too. This was the Denver Bronco one. We just looked like straight trash in this game. think it was 20. Was it 27 to 6 or something? I think we might have scored the final touchdown in this game. Yeah. Oh, his time expired. Yeah. So it was 27 to 7. As time expired, we got a playoff, and Daniel Jones ran in 4 yards for a touchdown to make the final score 27-13. It was 27 to 7 against the Denver Broncos. I mean, just straight trash. Absolute, just straight trash. I mean, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the Denver Broncos were, a better team, but I mean, they weren't like, going to the Super Bowl or something like that. I mean, we were down 27 to 7 at home. Just absolute straight garbage. All right, then, let's see where we got now. All right, so then, of course, this is the one we won, since the only time we won a game, a home opener, right, since 2017. This is the only one, 2022, when we went to the playoffs, right? We beat the Panthers. Not bad. Of course, we had that great game, that exciting game against the Titans, which actually, we won. Can't say we found a way to win because Tennessee actually missed a field goal as time expired, a makeable field, 40-something yard. It was a makeable field goal, but he just missed it. So the Giants, won. But they came home and they beat the Panthers 19 to 16. Right. All right. Then you got, let's see here. And of course, then 2023, 40 to nothing against the Cowboys. Right. 40 to nothing. I mean, then we were losing this game like 21 to nothing, I think it was, or 21 to 7 or something against the Cardinals. And that's when Daboll took over calling plays. I think for the second half of the game or whatever it was, we came back and had that. We were losing 20 to nothing. So actually, at one point in time, it was, one point in time, we got outscored 60 to nothing in the first 6 quarters of the game. First 6 quarters of the season. We got outscored the 2023 season. We were outscored 60 to nothing. And Daboll started calling plays and we scored 31 points. We came back and won. But anyway, we lost the first game of that season at home, right? And then, of course, last year, we don't, once again, we don't really need to, we hashed this up, but 2024 to 28 to 6. Whoops. 28 to 6 against the Vikings. Just straight trash. Absolute straight, total trash. 14 first downs, 74 yards, 166. We had the pick 6 in there. Yeah. Meanwhile, nice balance attack here, right? At 17, 312 yards, 200 yards pass, 100 yards rushing, very balanced. But, there was nothing super spectacular, just that we couldn't do anything on offense. Same exact way it was against the Commanders. Opening, we couldn't do nothing on offense. Absolutely nothing. It's like we had no idea what a football was. Go back 2 years ago against the guy. We not walked down the field because we only completed a couple passes, but we managed to run our way with Daniel Jones scrambling and stuff like that. We had ourselves in the field goal range first drive of the game against the Cowboys, right? Of course, the field goal got blocked. And Graham Gano got injured. Andrew Thomas pulled his hamstring. Then the season was all over after that play, basically. But but after that one drive, we couldn't. It's just amazing how the first game of the season they come out with, and the same thing against the Titans. Just wasn't until the second half we actually started scoring some points. But against the Titans in the first half of the game, it was like we had no idea how to play football. The offense, just absolute, just straight garbage. So because I don't even know. Let me go back here. Let's go back to let's see what 15 and 14 and 13 was and all that. 2015. Did we win the home opener here? No, we lost to the Falcons 24 to 20. Okay, so let's go back to 2014. Lost our home opener to the Cardinals 25 to 14. How about 2013? I mean, it's It's a home opener. You can't even win a home opener. Just let's see. Nope. We lost to the Broncos, 41-23. Look at this. Home opener, 41-23. 36-31. Me and my son were at this game, the Cowboy game. All right. I think that was 2013. So let's go to the previous season there. 2012. Did we win the home opener? Nope. Lost the home opener to the Cowboys, 24-17. And finally, we beat the Buck, but we lost another home opener. Let's go back here. What about 20? I don't even remember 2011. Yep, we won the home opener. Yeah. So, basically, right, if you want, think about it, right? The last 3 times the Giants won their home opener, they went to the playoffs. 2011, 16, 2022. I'm not going to keep going back. But since 2011, we've only won 3 home openers. 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24. So 3 of our last 14 home openers we've won. And you see, a lot of, we played the Cowboys a couple of times in there, sure. But played some other teams in there too. And, they weren't it wasn't like we were playing defending Super Bowl champion. We played the Cowboys. Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since after the 95 season. So I don't remember. None of those were defending Super Bowl champions. But the Steelers were a very good team. Sure. But and a lot of them we just look like absolutely just horrible. A lot of them we just came out and it was just like, wow, have these guys played football before? Is this the first game they've ever played football? I just kind of wonder, do we just sign up a bunch of New York Mets and Yankees and put the Giant jerseys on them and have them go out there and play? We just don't look prepared. It's just absolute garbage. So the Giants, you listen to so many people talk and everything like that, sports people just, don't go, especially if the price of a ticket nowadays. It depends upon where you sit and all of that. But man, if you want a good, it depends what options you want to buy. But if you can spend thousands of dollars for a ticket, for one ticket. Then, if you drive there, you got to park your car. You got like a parking pass. That's like $100. It's just to park your car. It's like, are you kidding me? Then it's like a hot dog is like $8. It's are you serious? What the heck was it? I recently went on vacation, and my brother-in-law, he's married to her son, goes to Ranger games at the Garden. I think he said a beer is $27. Whatever, 20 ounce or something. It's like, are you serious? $27 for beer. It's like, and it's only going to get worse. 20 years from now, it's going to be $50 for a beer. Another 30, 40 years or whatever from there, it's going to be like $100 for a beer. It's like, some people, just don't want to go, and when they can see and watch it on TV. I don't go to the games. I sit here at home. I got, now it's on YouTube TV, but it used to be Direct TV. So I had Direct TV, the Sunday tickets since 2000. I'll never forget that, because in 2000, the Giants went to the Super Bowl. And it was just unbelievable, because I got the Sunday ticket in 2000, and at 1 o'clock the first weekend, I put the TV on, and I 8 games popped up. I was like, I thought I was in heaven. I thought Jesus Christ himself. I heard the angels. Oh, I was like, oh my God, there's 8 games on. I'm watching every one of them. I couldn't believe it. The Giants were one of them. You can click on the game and it would open up, and you could just watch that one game, or you could just go back and watch all 8. It's very difficult to follow 8 games, but I was like, wow. But so I've had the Sunday package, Sunday ticket, whatever, ever since 2000. So this is like my 26th season having the Sunday ticket. Yeah. So I mean, I don't remember what it was initially in 2000, but this year it's over $300. Is that 330 or 340 or something like that for the YouTube TV? So I mean, you figure it's 18 weeks. I mean, it's like less than $20 a week, and you can watch darn near almost every game. Obviously, this Thursday night game, it's not on but I mean, all the 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock games, you can watch them all. So I mean, for like less than $20 a week, I can watch whatever, 10, 11 games, sometimes 12 games or whatever that are like out of market that aren't on normal TV and all that. So it's like what, $1.50 a game I can watch? $1.50 for a game. So I'd rather, spend $1.50 to watch the Giants on TV for $1.50 instead of spending anywhere from $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 for a ticket. Park. Spend $100 for parking, $10 for a hot dog, $10 for a bottle of water. You got to stand in line to take a pee. People yelling and it's like, I'm good. And then on top of that, to watch the Giants lose, you're going to go out and spend $1,000, maybe more. Probably, you could certainly spend less, sure. But I mean, it could cost you $1,000, go $2,000 to drive the Giants stadium and watch them lose 40-0, lose 28-6. I just spent $1,000 on that. Are you kidding me? I can just sit at my house here and for $1.50, watch the game for $1.50, and I can have 300 people in my house, not $1.50 a piece, for a grand total of $1.50. I can have 3,595 trillion people. It's not, they ain't fitting in the house, but I mean, if I wanted to, I can have the entire continent of Africa, my house, watching the Giant game for $1.50. To me, it's a no-brainer, So, but the Giants fans, without question. And the thing is, it's one thing to lose. If it's a hard-fought game, you can see the guys out there, they gave it their all. I'm not saying the guys don't give it their all, but I mean, when you lose 40-0, when you lose 28-6, it's like, yeah. Giant fans deserve a lot better. So let's hope tomorrow they come out and give it their all, because let's not forget, both teams are 0-2, right? Not just the Giants. It's not like that so far with the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs are 2-0. If they stumble and stub their toe against the Giants and limp home 2-1, well, they're the Chiefs. I mean, they'll win probably 3 of the next 4 games or 4 of the next 5, and they'll be 7-2 halfway, and they're on their way to the playoffs once again. They're 0-2, so they don't want to go 0-3. Giants don't want to go 0-3. So, speaking of going 0-3, I mean, if we go 0-3 and look bad, especially defensively, man, someone just might lose the job. And I think you know who I'm talking about. B.O. Mr. Bowman here, right? Bowen, right? It just, I don't know. It's not doing a very good job. It's not doing a very good job. A lot of the stuff that he had as his strength when he was at Tennessee, it's not really coming to fruition here. One of the things he was good at, his defenses were good at, was obviously supposedly stopping the run. Well, that hasn't really happened here. But it was supposed to be good in the red zone as well, too. And that really hasn't happened so far this season either, And, we got, as I said, we went out and we brought in Holland, right? Spent it, there are safeties. We went out and spent some money on Holland. 2nd round draft pick, right, on Newman. right? Those are the safeties. Third round pick on Phillips, who's really pretty good. Now, he had a rough game last week because he was going up against ABCD Lamb, right? But then we had Flott, right? But we also spent the first round pick on Banks, too. And we also brought in a Daboll, right? Spent some money on Daboll, right? We spent some money to bring in a Karake, guys that leads the league in tackles, okay? Unfortunately, we got three of our inside linebackers, off-ball linebackers, whatever you want to call them, are going to pretty much be out. So after 2 games, we've 3 of our inside linebackers are gone for this game anyway. Can't catch a break. I said, but you got Brian Burns, a first-round pick, Kayvon Thibodeau, first-round pick, Sexy Dexy, first-round pick, Carter, first-round pick. Yeah, so we got some money, some draft, capital, and some money capital, right, on his defense. And wow, I'm not saying we got a big, we're only giving up 2 points a game and we should have 35 sacks already. I'm not saying that, but some of it also was, Sexy is our main man, and he's working his wind up. He's not, totally in game shape yet. And to some degree, the Cowboys had a lot of plays last week. Now, granted, it kind of goes both ways. Well, if you stop the Cowboys, their offense, you get off the field, they don't have to have as many plays, right? But, as the plays just started mounting up, the Giants' defense is just really, really freaking tired. Really tired. A lot of plays, a long game. But, the defense got to do better. Got to do better. All right. Giants have little chance against, this is from the New York Post. They write some very good articles. They have some very good writers. This is from Paul Schwartz. Giants have little chance against the Chiefs in the NFL worst defense if the NFL's worst defense doesn't wake up. NFL's worst defense. Did you actually think at any point in time during the season you'd actually hear New York Giants and NFL worst defense in the same sentence? This is less about buzzkill and more about projection mixed in with a sense of impending Giants reality. We can go ahead and predict that in any game for the remainder of the season, Russell Wilson will not throw for 450 yards again, as he did last weekend. That's true. The Giants will not have 7 receptions of 25 or more yards. Yeah, that's true. It's quite possible the Giants do not surpass 37 points. Yeah, that's possible. 1 week should not completely inflate the expectations for what this offense will look like or how this squad is supposed to be balanced out. This team was built to play defense first and try to get the scoring up into the low to mid-20s. Take it from around 15 points a game. Could we get it to 20, 21? If you go up like 7 points in one season, that's a lot. That's a real lot. But if we could take it from like 15 points a game up to 20, we got some hope. Not to win a Super Bowl, but a hope for, obviously, get, at least a 500 record. This roster was fortified in the offseason to evolve into a top 10 defense. 2 weeks ago, the Giants are last in the NFL in defense, and if there is not significant improvement, this season will be a goner rather quickly. It was a shame, obviously, because you start looking, it's like, because Robert Saleh, he got let go from the Jets, and he's going back with the 49ers, It's like, some of these guys out there, it's like you start thinking, wow, if we only had this defensive coordinator, if we only had that, this guy can really do good things with it, or this guy, But we got Bowen. Ugh. This brings us to Sunday night. If ever there was a group that needed to come up big, it is the defense directed by coordinator Shane Bowen. The Chiefs arrived at MetLife Stadium for a nationally televised contest featuring 2 teams with 0-2 records. So it's big. Every game is big, but you don't want to go 0-3 and have playoff expectations or implication. Well, not implicated, but having hopes of making a playoffs and starting the season 0-3. Not that it can't be done. It can be. Not very easy. The Chiefs lost in the Super Bowl, and they had the look of a squad in possible decline. But they still had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, Andy Reid calling the plays, and of course, Kelsey's out there too. So no one will be surprised if they leave New Jersey at 1-2, and talk of their demise is shelved for the time being. Now, let's not forget, I think it was last year too. I think they started off rather slow. It was either last year or the year before that. They started off a little slow as well too. And as time went on, they just picked it back up. It was just like business as usual, right? Before you know it, they were back in the Super Bowl once again, right? If this Giants defense, led by Dexter Lawrence, Burns, Kayvon, and Abdul Carter up front, and enough experience and skill on the back end, cannot make a stand and at least make Mahomes sweat this one out, it will be a grim sign for what is to come. When Bowen earlier this week said, we got things we got to fix, he wasn't kidding. I'd say I feel like in flashes we've shown what we can do, Burns said. Flashes are not going to get it done. Nope. Giants still cannot stop the run, allowing an NFL worst 177.5 yards per game. They have 6 sacks in 2 games. I mean, you look at that, right? Just think about it. It's 17-game schedule, right? It's 51 sacks. I think they had 44, 45 last year. Right? But if they're on pace for about 50 sacks, I'll take that. No, it's not an NFL record, but I'll take 50 sacks. Right? They're tied with 5 other teams. The Patriots lead the league with 9 sacks. 3 teams have 8 sacks and 3 have 7. So the Giants, let's say, okay, 9. 3 teams have 8. That's 1, and 3 have 7. So the Giants are tied for like 8th in sacks with a whole bunch of other teams. Giants never had the lead in their 21-6 opening loss to the Commanders, then competed at a decent enough level for 3 quarters in Dallas before giving up 20 points in the 4th quarter in a 40-37 overtime loss. So between the 4th quarter and overtime, the Giants gave up 23 points. They gave up more than half their points in the final 2 quarters. I said once again, they were tired. Right? The Chiefs have yet to erupt on offense in 1-score losses to the Chargers and the Eagles. So what do we got? They scored, 38 points. So the Chiefs are not, they've lost to 2 very good teams, though, right? Over-reliant on Mahomes, who has accounted for all 4 of his team's touchdowns, 2 passing and 2 running, and is the rushing leader, which is not a good sign. They know we have a big challenge with the Chiefs coming in, Bowen said on his defense. I mean, they're looking forward to the opportunity. They are, again, we're 2 games in. We're not where we want to be defensively. We have to improve. We all understand that. But at the same time, we got a great opportunity this week on Sunday Night Football to go out there and play against a really good offense, really good quarterback, and hopefully put our best foot forward. It's taken a week 3 for the Giants to get their home opener, and maybe that will spark their defense into action. We're extremely excited for the opportunity, said linebacker Bobby Okereke. We know the environment is going to be like Sunday night with our fans, how excited they are, and with this matchup, 2 0-2 teams that I don't think the record is indicative of talent level and proposed production level. Nope. Right. The production level with an offense orchestrated by Wilson was paltry in week 1 and should have been more than enough in week 2. A home crowd that was energized seeing rookie Jackson Dart in the preseason gets its first look at Wilson with the Giants in a regular season game. Then Wilson said, I'm excited about the challenge. A little bit of adversity is never a bad thing. It molds you. Well, that's true. That's true. But, the defense is just, once again, it's only 2 games. Let's not forget, okay, everything is obviously we're going back almost 20 years, but let's not forget, what the heck was it? The Giants, I went to the opening day game. We lost 45-35 in 2007. My son and I went to the opening day game in Dallas. We lost 45-35. Very exciting game. Giants made it 38-35 with a few minutes to go. And I think it was Sam Hurd, because I looked this up recently, scored a 51-yard touchdown. But it was 38-35 Dallas. And I mean, they were just like walking up and down the field. It was just almost like you look at the Giants defense, the defense that held the 18-0 Patriots to 14 points in the Super Bowl. That defense, the Cowboys were just walking up and down the field. And I think it was a 51-yard touchdown reception by Sam Hurd, who made the final score 45-35. Very exciting game. Yeah. But then in week 2, now to be fair, what the hell was it? I think it was 14-13, if I'm not mistaken, going into let's take a look at 2007 New York Giants against the Packers going into the fourth quarter. So it was anybody's game going in week 2 of 2007. Anybody's game. Okay, going into the fourth quarter. Packers scored 3 touchdowns in the last quarter to make it 35-13. So my point being is that the 2007 Super Bowl defense champion, New York Giants gave up 80 points first 2 games. And then, of course, they gave up, what the heck was it? They gave up 17 points to the Redskins. Hope I didn't offend nobody by saying the word Redskins, because they were called the Redskins back then, right? So in 2.5 games, the 2007 team gave up almost 100 points, that defense. Then, of course, they had that goal line stand and pretty much, not everything just like turned just like that, but, we wound up winning the game, right? With under a minute to go. It gave us some hope and all of that, right? But let's see, 2007 Giants. I think New York. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, okay. So we were 45-35 to the Cowboys. Then it was, I think it was 14-13 going into the final quarter. Yeah, 14-13. The Packers scored 3 touchdowns in the final quarter. Donald Lee caught a 3-yard touchdown pass from Brett Favre. Donald Driver caught a 10-yard pass from Donald Driver. And Deshaun Wynn had a 38-yard rush. So they scored 3 touchdowns. But going into the fourth quarter was 14-13, right? And then, was it 17-3 at halftime? Yeah, 17-3 at halftime we were losing. Okay, so basically the Giants gave up in 2007, with that very good defense, right? They gave up 97 points in the first 2.5 games of the season. 97 points. They were actually on pace, between the first 2 games, they were averaging giving up 40 points a game in the first 2 games. Right? And then the Redskins scored 17 points in the first half. I was like, and we're losing 17-3. It's like, what the, but came back, made it 20, was it 24-17? We made it 24-17. The Redskins got down to the goal line, and they went for it, obviously, on 4th down late in the game. And, made the goal line stand and pretty much turned the whole season around. Instead of us being 0-3, we were 1-2, and we had a chance, right? So, I mean, just because they give up doesn't mean, but to be fair, we had Steve Spagnuolo. We had the group of guys, okay, and we had Steve Spagnuolo as the defensive coordinator. Now we have a nice group of guys, but we have Shane Bowen as our defensive coordinator. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see, right? If we have another, stink fest or something like, it'll be interesting to see if heads start rolling during the season. Very, very interesting to say, Because let's not forget, we brought in a new defensive backs coach, right? And so interesting to say, very, very interesting to say. But hopefully the Giants, hopefully, let's hope, right? But speaking of guys who are, hanging on by a thread, there's this article. Daboll said to be hanging on by a thread. So, he's not finding ways to win. And when you, and I did, I did like a video on this, whatever, everything's never going to be perfect. We're not the Wizard of Oz. It's not, right? Everything's not going to be perfect. You got to find ways to win, right? It's like there's always something with the Giants. Always something. Last week it was, the defense, right? But it was all the penalties. They were absolute killers. Absolute killers. Every week it seems like there's something that just prevents the Giants from winning. As I said, so we're 9-27 now. Between 2023, 2024, and 2025, we're 9-27. It's a 250 winning percentage. We're winning 1 out of every 4 games. If you can't find ways to win, something's going to change. Something's going to change. It's going to be interesting to see, like if somewhere, if at the end of the season, if Shane's still here, because that's what Mr. Mara is going to do at the end of the season. I mean, he's just not going to, I'm firing everybody. He's got to sit back and say, hey, Brandon Brown and Shane and company and all that, have they supplied enough talent to be somewhat successful, right? And if the answer is yes, well, Shane and the company probably stay. And, if the answer is, if we're 5-12, right? And, it's like we only won 5 games and we, brought in some free agents. I mean, the two first-round draft picks we got this year. We got Carter. We got Malik Neighbors the year before. Why aren't we winning? Why aren't we getting better? You know what I mean? So you just got to start getting rid of the coaches. So very, very interesting to see. But apparently, according to Big Blue View, Giants coach Brian Daboll said to be hanging on by a thread. Could the leash be shortening as the Giants continue to lose? Ooh. As I said, once again, you got to find ways to win. Once again, things are never going to be perfect. Right? Always going to be some adversity, things that go wrong. Right? And you have to find a way to overcome that. And sometimes it's not always on you. But you, 3-day, you coming at you. You're the one that gets fired, right? Like if say you go 0-17, right? And every game, the last play of the game, you have a field goal to win the game. Every game, and your field goal misses every kicker. Well, you're going to get rid of the field goal kicker. But because you didn't find ways to win, you, as the head coach, get fired. You're standing on the sideline. You ain't got nothing to do with the guy kicking and making the field goal or missing the field goal. But it falls on you. Right? So, a lot of pressure. But you got to know that coming in, right? I mean, I don't know, 95% of the coaches eventually wind up getting fired anyway. You got to know that coming in. That's the life of a coach. You go someplace, and then maybe a year or two later, you find someplace else to go. Then you just keep moving around. Or like Judge. Judge was with New England, and he wanted to come here. Then after 2 seasons, he gets fired. Then he goes someplace else. That's the life of a coach. It is what it is. But if you want to be a head coach, you'll be a well-off coach. So if you got to move someplace else and start picking, Daboll pick himself up. He'll wind up landing on his 2 feet. What he has up here, the offensive mind and way he can work with quarterbacks, he'll always have a job. But after being a head coach for 4 seasons, he'll have money. He'll be well off. But when you're a coach, it all falls on you. You're at the top of the pyramid, right? And it goes down from there, right? If you don't win, first guy on the top of the pyramid, which is you, boink, gets knocked off. That's the way it is. Giants head coach Brian Daboll is hanging on by a thread as his 0-2 team seeks its first victory of the season against the Chiefs. Per a report for Sportskeeda from NFL insider Tony Pauline. Pauline reported Friday that a source that Daboll and defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, who is heavily criticized for his handling of the Giants' overtime loss to the Cowboys, are under fire. Tony Pauline, known mostly for his NFL draft insights, wrote, "Yeah, Pauline does a very good job. I can't stand listening to him because I don't know. He talks. He starts talking about like the draft, like the next season, and it's like we're not even out of this season yet. And he's talking about people coming out in the draft, and Anyway, but Tony Pauline does a very, very good job. Very, very good job. Pauline said the mood in the locker room has changed from trying to stay upbeat to the realization that this team must win and win soon, or both could be out the door before the season ends. So, to be fair, if we don't wind up winning, I'm not sure I don't know. But, you can almost see maybe, I don't know, the Godfather, Andre Patterson, can maybe step in and take over as defensive coordinator. Right? Guy's been around for a while. Right? Give that, if Bowen goes, there you go, Andre. There you go, brother. We'll see you at the end of the season. We'll bring you in for an interview and see if you're right for the job or not. But this defense is yours, brother. Go get him. Right? And then, but also you figure if something were to happen to Daboll, maybe Kafka steps in. He's the one calling the plays. He knows the offense. He knows the players. He knows, he was a quarterback. He can handle the quarterback. He may not have maybe quite as good of an offensive mind, maybe, as Daboll. He's a smart dude. He might be the interim coach if Daboll were to get fired. Now, the same thing like with, unfortunately, with Steve Spagnuolo. Right? He's not a good head coach. Fantastic defensive coordinator. Okay. But the shame was, because when we had him, when Spagnuolo took over from McAdoo in 2017. I think we were finished 1-3. I think in the final 4 games of that season, because after McAdoo got canned, right? Spagnuolo came in and finished 1. He was the interim coach. As I said, he's not a very good coach. Great defensive coordinator. So it was unfortunate because after that season, we wound up losing, McAdoo, who was a good offensive mind, but we wound up losing Spagnuolo, right? So there goes our defensive coordinator, and he winds up going with I guess it was right after that. They might have gone to the Chiefs right after that, right? So it's a shame, but I don't want to be somebody writes stuff, tries to predict the future and all that stuff. But hey, if Daboll were to get fired, if Kafka were to take over, because he's the assistant head coach, right? If he were to take over, and somehow we could, he can get some wins out of this team, well, he might be the next head coach. Who knows? But once again, put the cart before the horse. Nobody's been fired yet. Right? Let's see ya. Pauline also reported that a lopsided loss to the Chiefs on Sunday could cause the insertion of rookie quarterback Jackson Dart into the lineup for Week 4 against the Chargers. Pauline added that saving grace for Daboll could be Jackson Dart playing competitive football once inserted into the lineup, then showing progress on the field. Valentine, can't remember what his first name is. Mr. Valentine said, I was in that locker room on Thursday, and I'm not sure Pauline's characterization is entirely accurate. I've been in enough losing Giants locker rooms to know what it feels like when a team knows a season is lost. Well, there's only 2 games, right? Did not sense that kind of resignation during my time around the players on Thursday. The room didn't seem jovial or happy, but I did not sense that it was already defeated. There have been some instances on both sides of the ball of players questioning what they have been asked to do. That does raise my antennas somewhat. Giants are now 9-27 since making the playoffs in Daboll's first season. They are 1-13 in their last 14 games. Since a 6-1 start in 2022, the Giants are 12-33-1. Wow. 12-33-1. Wow. So out of was it 30, 40 out of the last 46 games were 12-33-1. So Ed Valentine, Ed said, what do I think is going to happen? I could absolutely see Daboll scapegoating Bowen and firing him if the defense continues to struggle. I don't know who would be elevated from the staff to finish the season, but that would be a classic desperation move from a coach under fire. I also don't believe the Giants would fire Daboll without getting an extended look at Dart first. The Giants reach 0-4. It should not surprise anyone if Dart is the starting quarterback by week 5 against the Saints. Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely. Because, they brought in Dart. They want to take a look and, see what Dart can do, because that might start limiting, if after the season's over with and we wind up doing really bad, if Daboll's fired, right? If Dart, hasn't had an extended amount of playing time, right? You're not really sure what he can do while he's, was in live bullets, right? Live action, right? That might hinder a little bit about who are some of the coaches you can bring in here, because it's like, we just drafted Jackson Dart. By the way, he's your quarterback. You got to make it work. We're not getting rid of Dart. We just traded up. We traded 3 draft picks to get the guy, a first and 2/3 to move up to get the guy. He's your quarterback. So you're the new head coach, but you got to make Dart work as a. So basically, Dart's tied to your success. So if you got a new head coach coming in here, right, and whoever that GM is, it's like, well, look, Dart's your quarterback. If he doesn't work out, you're fired. Dart will be demoted, and you're fired too. So that's really could hinder, who you want to bring in here, or who you're able to bring in here as your next head coach. So you're definitely going to want to see Dart get in there and see what he can wind up doing, without question. But so yeah, that would be, it's you're certainly expecting more from your defense, without question. If Bowen can't get it, you got to find somebody else who can. Just plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right, Giants now, because it's absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I can't even talk. I can't stand it. These injuries are just. When I type in the Philadelphia Eagles injury report, because I can't stand the Eagles, and they have like 2 guys listed on their injury report, and they're both backups. One is out, I think, and one guy's like their second string quarterback is doubtful or something like that. But nobody, none of their stars, and all that. Nobody even has jock itch. Nobody has nothing. It's absolutely amazing. The Giants go through a game, and we wind up getting 6 to 10 players every game injured. The Eagles go through a game. They not only do they win it, but nobody gets injured. It's like I can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. But we bring back Tolman Fox, right? There's Golston. We're going to go over the report here. Golston is banged up because I said 3 of the inside linebacker, Bozeman. We brought Bozeman. We brought him up from the practice squad. There's an inside linebacker because we might need him because Muasau was out. It's his concussion protocol. He's out. Of course, Micah McFadden's out. Flanagan Fowles is out. So yeah, we got some problems here. But Giants roster moves. Edge rusher or edge defender, whatever. Tolman Fox signed to the 53-man roster. Giants signed linebacker, defensive end Tolman Fox to the active roster. Wave wide receiver Xavier Gibson. That's it. Yeah, it really is. But then again, these guys are used to that by then. But it's just unbelievable. One week we sign a guy, he's on the brand. Next week he's off the squad. Then 2 weeks later we bring him back. Then he's on another team. Then it's really tough to keep up with the practice squad players. It's tough. It is tough. But so the Giants announced Saturday afternoon that they've signed edge defender Tobin Fox to the 53-man roster amidst a flurry of roster moves. Fox, who originally signed with the Giants as an undrafted free agent following the 2022 NFL Draft, was waived in the final cutdowns prior to the start of the regular season. He was quickly signed to the practice squad after passing through waivers, however, and now rejoins the main roster. The Giants are likely signing Fox for an insurance policy with Chauncey Golston officially questionable with an ankle injury. Fox is a stout defender at 6'2", 253 pounds. I mean, he is. Every now and then, it's like he hasn't had a sack here or a sack there. So it's not like, it's out of the realm of possibility if you put him on, other than special teams, that he wouldn't come up with a play. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility, but he's not going to have a major significant impact, right? The Giants released wide receiver, obviously / return man Xavier Gipson in a corresponding roster move. This comes a week after the Giants claimed Gipson off of waivers from the Jets, though it seems likely that Gipson will be signed to the Giants practice squad, filling the hole left by Fox. Giants also announced that they are activating two other defenders, defensive lineman Elijah Garcia and linebacker Neville Hewitt, from their practice squad in a standard elevation. This is the third time, though, in 3 weeks for Garcia. He's been elevated from the practice squad and marks the final time the team can do so without signing him to the 53-man roster. Now, Garcia hasn't done too bad. He's had 1 sack in 2 games. He's had 1 quarterback hit and 1 tackle for a loss against the Cowboys. And the Giants might want to find room for him on their roster if he backs up that performance this week. Hewitt, 32, was signed to the Giants practice squad earlier this week. He's played 146 games with 48 starts. He's had 500 tackles, 7.5 sacks since signing with the Dolphins as an undrafted free agent following the 2015 NFL Draft. So he's been around for a while. Giants have suddenly gotten very thin at linebacker thanks to injuries to Micah McFadden, Darius Muasau. So we can see quite a bit of Hewitt against the Kansas City Chiefs. And not only Hewitt, but also, they brought up Bozeman, too. Bowman. They brought him up, right? And the thing about with Bozeman is that he was on the Chiefs. They let him go, okay? Bozeman, as quite a few of the New York Giants football players, their RAS scores are Bozeman's is over a 9. We have a lot of guys on this team. The RAS score, relative athletics score, I believe it's called. You're over a 9. You're a very good athlete, fantastic athlete. And the Giants look at, obviously they want a football player, right? But they also want athletes as well too. And Bozeman is that. He's a very good athlete. And as I said, he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. And this might be a little bit of a revenge game for him, too. Now, I'm not sure how much he's going to get on the field, but he's an off-ball linebacker, so we are a little thin at linebacker, so he might get on there. But, just with the injuries the Giants have, as I said, guys are going to become elevated, going to be let go. They're going to be brought back. And, you need a scorecard to keep up with the practice squad players. But with Elijah, it's interesting, though, because Elijah Garcia keeps getting elevated. Elijah Chapman stays down there. But Elijah Garcia has had some impact. He's not playing like 40, 50 snaps, but, he's had a nice little impact. So this is the last time, apparently, they can bring him up off the practice squad. If they do so again, they have to sign him to the active 53-man roster. Right, so he's, Garcia's made a nice little name for himself so far, this season anyway. And then finally, we have this. Patrick Mahomes' injury twist might just help the Giants. So you tell them we got a chance, huh? Yeah. But it is interesting. He has a injury to his wrist. And it's his right wrist as well, too. His throwing wrist. Very, very interesting. Now, of course, the Chiefs have quite a few, obviously. They have quite a few guys who are banged up, but the Giants have a few guys, obviously, as well. The Giants are always going to have guys banged up. But we have a couple of reports here, right? So, and one of them also, let me start with this here. Xavier Worthy, okay? Now, he has had a shoulder issue. Now, he's the one, he set the combine record. Yeah. The modern combine record. Now, if you talk to Deion Sanders said he's running a 4.1 or 4.2 at the most 40-yard dash. If you talk to Bo Jackson, Bo said, "Yeah, I ran a 40-yard dash, and some guy had me like a 3.9 40-yard dash." So if you talk to some of the old-time guys like Deion and all, they run like 2-second 40-yard dashes, but the modern, there's actually more modern ways of telling the actual time of the 40-yard dash, right? Where they ran at 4.21, which is takes the top off the defense. So apparently he's not going to be playing. So not that he's like the greatest wide receiver of all time, but the threat is there. Of just taking the top off if he gets past you, he's gone. Ain't nobody catching him. That's where the term playing over the top of a wide receiver comes in at, because as he's running down the field, you want to constantly be over the top of him. You never want to be equal with him. You get equal with him, he's going to run past you. But Giants catching Chiefs in a vulnerable spot with Xavier Worthy ruled out for Week 3 of Sunday Night Football. Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy was downgraded from questionable to out ahead of the Week 3 Sunday night matchup. Worthy won't travel as he recovers from a shoulder injury he suffered in Week 1 collision with Travis Kelce. They ran over the middle and they ran into one another. Right? Little did we know that was really going to help the Giants out, right? See, sometimes it's not so much who you play, it's when you play them, right? The Texas product was limited participant in practices all week, though head coach Andy Reid said Friday that Worthy looked fast and performed well in all the sessions. But still, Worthy was apparent not game-worthy. Behind Worthy, receivers Jalen Royals is questionable for the game with a knee injury. If he is active Sunday, it will be his first NFL debut as he was taken in the 4th round of this year's draft. Worthy dislocated his shoulder in the Chiefs' season opener against the Chargers in Brazil after colliding hard with Travis Kelce on a passing route early in the first quarter. So they ran right into each other. The tight end later said he unintentionally laid out the receiver while trying to free him up with a rub route against the Charger defense. So, but Patrick Mahomes, his injury twist adds some new pressure to the Giants' Week 3 matchup. Chiefs want to try to avoid a Giants-sized scare. Giants are catching the Chiefs at a fascinating time after dropping 2 straight to start the 2025 NFL season, including a Super Bowl rematch with the loss to the Eagles. Desperation is setting in for the Super Bowl runners-up. And now, right before the Sunday Night Football matchup at MetLife Stadium, Patrick Mahomes popped up on the injury report with a right wrist issue. That's the hand he throws with. And while it hasn't stopped him from logging full practices all week, the timing isn't ideal. He's already off to a sluggish start this season. And if anything's bothering him physically, say inflammation in his throwing wrist, it will only make things harder for Kansas City, which isn't exactly worst-case scenario for the Giants. You're darn right. That's not to say Mahomes is going to miss the game. Oh, he ain't missing no game. But it would say something that Kansas City feels the need to trot him out, wrist issue and all, in a must-win game against the most what most consider to be one of the NFL's worst teams. The fact that the Chiefs aren't even entertaining the idea of resting him against the winless Giants team in a non-conference games tells you everything you need to know about where their heads are at. Kansas City could have leaned on backup Gardner Minshew. But apparently the same guy who had a Pro Bowl-worthy run for the Colts in 2023 and has 46 career starts can't be trusted to take on Big Blue. That's either a major vote of no confidence in Minshew or a total indictment of how little the Chiefs trust their team without Mahomes, even against a team like the G-Men. Mahomes will play, and he'll probably look like Mahomes, but the Giants still need to treat it like an opportunity because those have been few and far between lately. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. But let's take a look here at the injuries, right? Now, of course, the Giants have quite a few guys, but they only have like five guys, right, who are kind of like listed here. Now we're going to find this here. This is the thing. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. So Flanagan Fowles, right? He's doubtful for the game. Okay, but linebacker. And of course, then you go down here, Muasau, a linebacker. He's out with his concussion and an eye with concussion. Right? It hasn't passed concussion protocol yet. So Fowles is doubtful. Muasau is out. Of course, McFadden's on injured reserve, and you don't know when he's coming back. So after 2 games, we got like 3 inside linebackers. Boom, probably may not be able to play. Chauncey Golston, right? Defensive lineman, probably more or less like a edge, but put him on the line as well too. He's questionable with an ankle, right? Nacho, he's doubtful. He's got a foot injury with a foot. So we got 2 inside linebackers and 2 defensive linemen, right? Then Gunner with the back, he's questionable. The guy's always injured. I mean, last year he lost the whole season because of his groin. Now he's his back. So, which kind of is a little bit odd because we had, we did have Xavier Gibson, right? Return man, Xavier Gibson. Okay, and we just demoted him, and he might wind up back on the practice squad. If Gunnar Olszewski here is questionable. Right. And then you got Wandale, but so we got Andrew Thomas. He's questionable. Okay, but it's trending like he might play. Now, is he going to play 100% of the snaps? That we don't know. Right? Might be will be a little bit of maybe a mixture. He plays so many snaps and somebody takes a spot. Who knows? If somebody does take a spot, is it going to be Bo or is it going to be Hudson? James, I like to get a lot of penalties. Hudson, right? You see, got a lot of guys there, right? A lot of guys. Cam Scatterbill with an ankle, but he was full participant. Roy Robertson Harris with a knee, he was full participation. Tyrone Tracy Jr. with a calf, he was limited, but there's no injury designation. So there's no injury designation. The guys are playing, right? Darius Slate with a groin and a calf. John Michael Schmitz with a toe. John Runyon with a back. Wandale Robinson with a foot. Right? I said, this is the thing. I just can't stand it because I go to the Eagles. I can't stand the Eagles. I actually can't stand the Eagles. They're the team I hate the most in any sport, all sports combined. The Eagles. I go to their team. Of course, they play 2 games, and they have like 2 guys that are listed. The Giants have 375 guys that are listed. The Eagles have 2. One guy's, I think, out. One guy's doubtful or something. They have like nobody else. Nobody has nothing. Nobody has a cold. Nobody sneezes. Nobody has jocket. Nothing. Nobody has an ingrown toe and nothing. I have no idea how they can play 100 and something snaps. They play 100 and something snaps, and everybody comes out fine, and they win the game. Giants play 100 and something snaps. Half the team gets injured, and we lose the game. No idea. I absolutely can't stand it. All right, but the Chiefs, they have their some injuries too, right? Mike Dana, defensive end, he's out. Fulton, the cornerback, he's out as well too. Jalen Royals, okay, the wide receiver with the knee, he's questionable. So, but the thing is, even if he does wind up playing, he's got a knee and he's a wide receiver, so that's certainly not going to help him out. Xavier Worthy, another wide receiver, or shoulder, he's out. Okay, and you see, a bunch of other guys popped up here. Right, there's Mahomes with the right wrist, but all these guys are full participation in practice, right? So they got a lot of guys, who popped up on the list here, right? But they one of the cornerbacks, the defensive ends, but two of their wide receivers. Now, the biggest thing there, right, is that every game is different. I get that, but the Chiefs, as of right now, their running game is like almost non-existent. Patrick Mahomes is their running game. And then, obviously, we don't want Russell Wilson leading their team in rushing yards. They don't want Patrick Mahomes leading their team in rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes is set on if he keeps it up, he's going to totally smash his all-time single season rushing mark if he keeps this up. But the Chiefs don't want that. They want a running game. They don't have, as of right now, they don't have a running game. But it might be good for them because they're playing up against the team that has the worst yards per game given up on run defense-wise, which would be the Giants. So something might give. Right? The Giants might really do good because the Chiefs don't have a good running game, or the Chiefs who don't have a running game might do really good because the Giants don't have a good run defense. So we'll have to wait and see. But you always got to figure, as long as they got, Patrick Mahomes, if it's a one-score game, whatever, and you got Patrick Mahomes, you got a good chance of winning. Because let's not forget, I said the Chiefs have a good defense. Okay, you listen to guys talk on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs, I think they're number 2 in the NFL defensive-wise as far as blitzing. They blitz about 50% of the time. They blitz. Whether it's a run blitz or a pass, you just don't know who's coming and who's going. So they play a lot of man, right? They're going to try to maybe get up on the line of scrimmage, beat up on your wide receivers, get close to Malik, try to knock him off his route a little bit, or beat him up, hit him, right? Disrupt his pass routing, running, right? And as far as Wilson standing in a pocket and maybe throwing something deep, you may not be afforded that. You may not be able to do that because if Spagnuolo is sending the kitchen sink, he might just send the 4 and maybe blitz 1. He might send 2. You don't know, but he blitzes a lot, right? So being able to pick up the blitz, right, it's going to be imperative. Can we keep Russell Wilson standing upright? Because I said they have a good defense. They have a very good defense. Right? No doubt about that. So it's going to be tough. I mean, as well, last week, you can certainly see where both teams might score some points because Dallas was going to score some points. Their offense is very, very good. Plus, they have that phenomenal kicker. But you've got the Dallas defense, especially their secondary, was banged up. So you can see where the Giants, could score some points, right? This week here, you don't know, but points. There's a good chance points will be at a premium here. Maybe both teams score in the 20s. We'll have to wait and see. But once again, every week is different. Every week is different, right? Neither team obviously wants to go 0-3, right? Because once again, you go 0-3 and your playoff chances are slim and none, right? Very, very, very difficult. So, plus for the Giants, it would be 0-3, but they would also be once again 0-2 in their own division. Because then we have to play the Chargers, and then we got the Saints, but then 2 out of our next 3 games after that are against the Eagles. So you can certainly see where the losses would start mounting up quickly. The one exciting thing about that would be, if you want to look at it for the Giants, is that we might get to see Jackson Dart in there, especially if we start off, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, but you can see where there's a chance we keep losing. You might see Jackson Dart in there sooner or later, but hopefully the Giants will give the fans Sunday Night Football, the world, a good showing, a good showing, right? Because both teams, I said, are 0-2, and Both teams need this game big time. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 20 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me as always. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.